Have you ever felt shy or nervous when speaking English, not because of the words you chose, but because of how you sounded? Maybe you've said something completely correct, but someone still asked you to repeat it. Or maybe you've avoided speaking up in class or meetings because you felt like your accent was holding you back. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many English learners feel self-conscious about their accent, and some even believe that they'll never sound natural. But what if I told you that improving your English accent doesn't have to be hard, overwhelming, or stressful? What if there was a better way, an easier, more natural, even enjoyable way to improve how you speak? Hello, and welcome to today's episode of English in Mind. I'm Jason, your friendly English teacher, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. Over the years, I've worked with thousands of learners from around the world, and one of the biggest things I hear is this: Jason, I want to speak English clearly and confidently, but my accent always gets in the way. I understand that struggle, and I also know that you can improve your accent without trying to sound like someone else, and without spending hours every day drilling tongue twisters or repeating robotic sentences. In fact, you can improve your accent effortlessly, yes, effortlessly, by changing how you listen, how you practice, and how you think. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how. Together, we'll explore what an accent really is, how it's formed, and why it's something you can improve with the right mindset and techniques. I'll walk you through simple, practical tips you can start using today. I'll share real stories, examples, and encouragement along the way, so that by the end of this episode, you'll feel not only more confident, but more excited about the way you speak English. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing to try to listen differently and to celebrate each step forward. Your voice matters, and it's time to help it shine. Let's take a moment to understand what an accent actually is. Many learners believe that having an accent is a mistake or something they should be ashamed of, but that's not true at all. Everyone has an accent. Yes, everyone, even native speakers. Your accent is simply the sound of your language background. It's shaped by your first language, the sounds you grew up hearing, and how your mouth, tongue, and ears are used to moving and responding to sound. It's a natural part of who you are. But while having an accent is normal, learning to make your accent more understandable or closer to a native-like sound can help you feel more confident and connected in conversations. So, what's the difference between accent and fluency? Well, fluency is how easily and smoothly you can speak a language. It's about the flow, the rhythm, the ability to express ideas without too much hesitation. Accent, on the other hand, is how your speech sounds. You can be fluent and still have a strong accent. You can also have a very soft accent and struggle with fluency. The two are related, but they're not the same. And here's the important part. You don't need to erase your accent to be fluent or confident. You don't need to sound exactly like an American, British, or Australian speaker. What you need is clarity, comfort, and confidence. Let's think about this another way. Imagine your accent as a musical instrument. Maybe right now, your English sounds like a beautiful violin with a few strings out of tune. It's still your instrument, still your voice, but with some tuning, it could sound even smoother, more harmonious. Accent work isn't about changing who you are. It's about fine-tuning your voice so that others can understand you more easily, and so that you can feel proud of how you sound. And here's another truth. Accents aren't permanent. They're flexible. Why? Because your brain is flexible. This flexibility is called neuroplasticity, a fancy word that means your brain can learn new sounds and patterns even as an adult. Yes, it may take time, but it's 100% possible, You already have the ability. All you need is the right approach and a little consistency. Now, you might be wondering, if everyone has an accent, should I even try to change mine? The answer depends on your goals. If you want to improve communication, reduce misunderstandings, or feel more natural when speaking, then yes, working on your accent can help. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about making your speech more effective, more comfortable, and more you. Some learners fear that changing their accent means losing their identity. But think of it this way. If you learn to pronounce words more clearly, or adopt the melody of English more naturally, you're not becoming someone else, you're expanding who you are. You're learning a new version of your voice, and that voice can be powerful, expressive, and uniquely yours. So before we dive into the practical techniques, I want you to let go of one limiting belief that accent improvement is only for the talented or the young. It's not. Accent improvement is for the consistent, for the curious, for the ones who are willing to try new things and keep going. That means it's for you. Let's step into the next section with that mindset in place. No pressure, no judgment, just a willingness to explore, to listen, and to grow. Now let's get into the part you've been waiting for. Real practical strategies you can use to improve your English accent effortlessly. These aren't complicated exercises or time-consuming drills. These are small, realistic habits you can weave into your daily life. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. It's making your accent more clear, more confident, and more natural step by step. So here are 5 powerful techniques you can begin using today. First, imitate, don't memorize. This is one of the simplest yet most effective techniques. It's called shadowing. You find a short piece of native English audio, maybe a podcast clip, a YouTube video, or a scene from your favorite movie, and you try to repeat the sentences at the same time as the speaker. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Don't even pause the audio. Just follow along, copying their tone rhythm and pronunciation. This isn't about understanding every word. It's about training your mouth, your ears, and your voice to move like English. Think of it like dancing with language. Do this daily for just 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll start to hear a shift in your accent. You're not memorizing sounds, you're feeling them. Second, focus on rhythm and stress, not individual sounds. English is a stress-timed language, which means that certain syllables are longer and louder than others. For example, in the sentence, I want to go to the market, the stress naturally falls on want go and market. If you stress every syllable equally, your speech might sound robotic. To sound more natural, listen for the music of English. You can practice this by tapping your fingers or clapping as you say a sentence out loud, emphasizing the strong beats. It's fun, and it trains your brain to hear English the way native speakers do. This small adjustment can instantly make your speech feel more fluent, even if your grammar stays exactly the same. Third, record yourself. I know it might feel awkward at first, but recording your voice is one of the best ways to improve your accent. When you speak, you often don't realize how you sound. But when you listen back, you'll notice things. Maybe your th sounds like s, or your intonation goes flat at the end of a sentence. This awareness is powerful. Start with one sentence per day. Record it, listen, and compare it to a native speaker. You don't need expensive equipment. Your phone works just fine. Over time, you'll become your own coach, and you'll start correcting yourself naturally. Fourth, train with mouth movement exercises. Pronunciation is physical. It's not just about the brain. It's about the lips, tongue, and jaw. Some English sounds may not exist in your native language, which means your mouth isn't used to making them. Try simple warm-ups. Exaggerate vowel sounds like ooh and ee, or practice saying they by gently placing your tongue between your teeth and blowing air. These little movements may feel silly, but they build muscle memory. Think of them like stretching before a workout, short, simple, but extremely effective. A few minutes each day can bring noticeable improvement over time. Fifth, and perhaps most enjoyable, immerse yourself in English that you love. Find content that makes you smile, laugh, or feel inspired. Whether it's watching English movies, listening to music, or following English-speaking creators on social media, the more you hear natural English, the more your ear will adjust. And when your ear improves, your pronunciation follows. This is called passive learning, and it's effortless because it doesn't feel like studying. If you enjoy the content, you'll come back to it again and again, and that's where the magic happens. Let me share a short story here. One of my students, Anna from Brazil, used to avoid speaking in meetings because she was afraid people would judge her accent. She told me, Jason, I sound so different from my coworkers. But instead of hiding, she started shadowing her favorite TED Talks every morning, just 10 minutes. She recorded herself, laughed at her mistakes, and kept going. 2 months later, she gave a full presentation in English at work, and people complimented her clarity. She didn't lose her accent. She owned it, and you can too. Here's what I want you to take away from these 5 strategies. You don't need to sound perfect. You don't need a teacher correcting you every step. What you need is exposure intention and playfulness. Make accent work a fun part of your day. Play with sounds. Laugh at your mistakes. Be proud of your progress. Start with just one of these tips. Maybe today you shadow a scene from your favorite TV show. Tomorrow, you record one sentence. Next week, you try mouth movements while brushing your teeth. These small, simple actions done with consistency lead to real transformation. And most importantly, they make you fall in love with your voice again, because your voice matters. And with the right approach, it can shine in any language. Let's talk about something just as important as any technique or tip: your mindset. Because no matter how many tools you have, if your mind is full of doubt, fear, or pressure, you'll always feel blocked. But when your mindset is open, gentle, and patient, even the smallest effort becomes powerful. Improving your accent is not just about how you move your mouth, it's also about how you talk to yourself. First, let's address one of the most common inner beliefs. My accent is bad. Please stop there. Your accent is not bad. It's a reflection of your language journey. It tells a story about where you've come from, the languages you've mastered, and the courage you've shown by learning English. That's something to be proud of. Changing your accent doesn't mean rejecting who you are. It means refining your voice, not erasing it. And the process can be beautiful, not painful. So the first shift in mindset is this: progress over perfection. You're not trying to sound like someone else. You're trying to sound like the clearest, most confident version of yourself in English. There's a big difference. When you stop chasing perfection, your energy becomes lighter. You allow space to grow. And that makes learning more enjoyable, more consistent, and yes, more effortless. Another key mindset shift is to embrace small steps. Accent improvement is not a big leap. It's a series of quiet victories. Maybe today you pronounce the clearly. Maybe tomorrow your sentence stress sounds more natural. These are real wins, and they deserve to be noticed. If you only focus on how far you still have to go, you'll miss how far you've already come. So celebrate those moments. Smile when you hear yourself improving. Enjoy the sound of your progress. Let's also talk about confidence. Many learners hold back from speaking because they think their accent will be judged. But here's a secret. Most native speakers are not expecting perfection. They're listening for clarity, confidence, and connection. If you speak with belief in your voice, even if your accent is strong, people will feel it. Confidence makes your message shine through. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about being heard. Now, how do you stay motivated in the long run? One simple answer: connect your practice to purpose. Don't improve your accent just because someone told you to. Do it because you want to feel more connected in conversations. Do it because you want to enjoy movies without subtitles. Do it because you want to share your thoughts and ideas clearly. When your why is strong, your effort feels meaningful, and motivation becomes automatic. You can also stay motivated by tracking your journey. Record your voice today, and then again next month. Keep a little audio diary. You'll be amazed at how much can change in 30 days. When you hear your own growth, it builds belief, and belief fuels more action. And remember, this is not a race. Your voice is unique. Your pace is personal. Some days will feel easy. Others will feel frustrating. That's okay. Learning is a cycle, not a straight line. Be kind to yourself on the days you stumble, and keep going on the days you shine. One more thing: enjoy the process. Find joy in practicing sounds. Laugh at the funny moments. Turn your practice into play. If you approach accent work with curiosity instead of pressure, your brain will relax and learning will become lighter. That's what effortless really means. Not that it's zero effort, but that the effort feels natural, light, and joyful. Let me leave you with this: your voice in any language deserves to be heard. You have something to say. And with time, consistency, and a kind mindset, your English voice will grow stronger, clearer, and more powerful. You've got this. Even when you have the right mindset and the best tools, there are still a few common mistakes that can slow you down or make the process feel harder than it needs to be. The good news: these mistakes are totally normal and totally fixable. Let's walk through them together and talk about how to overcome each one with confidence and ease. The first mistake many learners make is focusing too much on individual sounds and ignoring rhythm and stress. Of course, it's helpful to learn how to pronounce sounds like th or r, but if your overall rhythm sounds off, your speech will still feel unnatural. English is a language of flow. It has music, movement, and timing. If you pronounce every syllable with equal weight, like a drum beat, it won't sound right, even if every consonant is perfect. So instead of isolating tiny sounds, zoom out. Practice sentence stress. Focus on the rise and fall of your voice. Mimic how native speakers group their words together. This is what creates real fluency in your accent. The second mistake is trying to change everything at once. Some learners hear themselves speak and suddenly feel like they need to fix every vowel, every sound, every tone. But here's the truth that's overwhelming, and it leads to frustration. Instead, pick one small thing to work on each week. Maybe this week you focus on final consonants. Next week, you try rising intonation at the end of yes/no questions. Small steps. These are manageable, realistic, and they actually stick. Remember, consistency beats intensity every time. Another common mistake is avoiding practice because of fear. This shows up in thoughts like, I'll practice speaking later when I'm better, or I don't want people to laugh at how I sound. But waiting until you're perfect is a trap because no one ever feels truly ready. The way forward is through the fear, not around it. Start with small, safe spaces. Speak out loud to yourself. Record short phrases. Join a supportive online speaking group. The only way to improve is to use your voice even when it shakes. Over time, the fear fades and confidence grows in its place. A fourth mistake is comparing your voice to others. It's easy to feel discouraged when you hear someone else speak English more smoothly than you. But what you don't see is the practice, the mistakes, the months, or years they spent to get there. Your voice is not supposed to sound like theirs. It's supposed to sound like you evolving and growing. So instead of comparing, listen for inspiration, not judgment. Celebrate others, and then come back to your own progress. You're on your path, and it's the only one that matters. The fifth mistake is believing that improvement requires pain or struggle. Some learners think, if it's not hard, I'm not doing it right. But that belief can block your joy. And joy is one of the most powerful tools in language learning. Yes, improvement takes effort, but it doesn't have to feel heavy. When you approach accent work with curiosity, playfulness, and patience, you learn faster. Why? Because your brain is more open, your body is more relaxed, and your confidence grows naturally. So, how do you fix these mistakes? You stay mindful. You slow down, focus on one thing at a time, and give yourself space to grow. You show up every day with just a little practice, even 5 minutes. You celebrate each step, even the messy ones. And you remind yourself again and again that this journey is yours. If you fall into these patterns, don't worry. You're not failing. You're learning. That's what this is all about. And every mistake is just a sign that you're trying. And if you're trying, you're already doing better than you think. You're not alone in this journey. And every time you choose to keep going, to speak to, listen to try, you're moving forward. You've already come so far. And the best is yet to come. Let's take a deep breath together and look back on everything we've explored today. We started by talking about something so many English learners feel self-consciousness about their accent. That fear of not being understood, that hesitation to speak up. But we also uncovered something more powerful, the idea that improving your English accent doesn't have to be hard. In fact, it can be effortless when you approach it with curiosity, consistency, and kindness. We learned that accent is not about perfection. It's not about losing your identity. It's about learning how to express yourself more clearly and confidently in a second language. It's about tuning your voice, not replacing it. We looked at what an accent really is, how it works in your brain and body, and how your first language shapes your English. Then we walked through 5 powerful techniques that you can start using right away: shadowing native speakers, practicing rhythm and stress, recording your voice, warming up your mouth with simple exercises, and immersing yourself in content you love. Each one is simple. Each one is realistic. And when practiced regularly, each one leads to real change. We also talked about mindset, how your attitude, patience, and self-belief are just as important as pronunciation. You now know that you don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, consistent, and open to growth. And of course, we looked at the common mistakes that can hold learners back and how to gently move past them. Because the truth is, mistakes don't stop your journey. They are the journey. Each one teaches you. Each one builds strength. So here's my invitation to you. Now start today. Choose just one thing from this episode. Maybe it's recording yourself. Maybe it's watching your favorite show and mimicking a few lines. Maybe it's simply reminding yourself that your voice matters. Whatever it is, start with that. Start small. Start with joy. And remember, you don't need to sound like anyone else to be a great English speaker. You just need to sound like you, the version of you that's growing, learning, and speaking with more confidence every day. This is your journey, your voice, your power. Keep going, Keep practicing, and most of all, enjoy the process. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm proud of you, and I'll be right here cheering you on every step of the way. You've got this.